What's up, everybody? Welcome to Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. I'm Jonathan Beardsley.
And I am Brandon May.
As you can tell from the sound of my voice, I am sick right now, but I'm going to power through it to talk about music because that is what Brandon and I love to do so much. And we actually have a few pretty major news things to go over. We won't go over all of them in depth right now, but we will at least touch on them, starting with the Grammy nominations being released. As I said, we don't need to go through this category by category, but was there anything you saw that you were surprised by or liked right off the bat?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised that Foo Fighters got nominated.
Are you?
I'm
not
surprised.
Them and Queens felt like, all right, that's a low hanging fruit for a best rock nom.
Okay, I can see that. A lot of Boy Genius.
Yep.
There's a lot of those. Yeah, well, what surprised you, my man?
SZA, I think, led the amount of nominations with 9. If she gets Best Album, I think that will be insane. I think it is a great album. It's going to be interesting to see if it gets the award, though. I hope it does. I think Paramore has a legitimate shot to win Best Rock Album, which is crazy. This might be their first nomination. I'm not sure. They posted a picture on Instagram after the nominations came out of them, like during the All We Know Is Falling album time, and it's like all of them is just kids, and it's like Grammy nominated. It's kind of crazy to see how far these people come, you know?
Absolutely, man. And yeah, Fred again was nominated for Best New
For
Artist.
Actual Life 3, which I've gone back to a few times, and I get it. I think that album is very unique. Whether or not it's my thing or everybody's thing is kind of irrelevant because the Grammys does not give a shit about that. They fucking give John Batiste everything, and I don't think he's anybody's thing. So I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean there's a couple of moments on the Grammy noms that are interesting. Pop Dance with Calvin Harris. I think that one was a given, but I really didn't think that Baby Rexha David Guetta was gonna get a nod.
God, that's a terrible fucking song. It
I
should
know,
not
right?
get a nod. Did Miracle get nominated? Is that the song?
Yeah, it's Miracle.
All right, yeah, that should be a shoe-in.
Yeah,
It's a fucking hit.
It'll win.
All right, we'll dive into all of those in depth next week and give some of our predictions. Next up, we got the DJ Mag Top 100 list being released this week. Who ended up at number 1?
Was it Armin? No.
Guetta?
It was Guetta.
Of course. I mean, you solve racism. That's going to be every year until you die, I guess. Listen, I think we've said it at some point on the show by now, but if people have not heard, I think both of our opinion on the DJ Mag Top 100 list is that it is a piece of shit that means nothing.
Right. The main thing for me is that, Tale of Us and really all of those Afterlife Recordings artists, just Tale of Us and Anima just dominated this year. And to have not even the DJ Mag Top 100 DJs even touch on the fact that they've been doing so hot is crazy to me. Also, who is paying to see Dimitri Vegas and Like Mike? Are people still paying to see them? They came in at number 2.
Are you sure you looked at the right year?
I'm sure. I looked at it again.
Was Chucky at number 3? Like, what are we doing here, man?
Right.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, man, I don't agree with it. I agree with you that Tale of Us, Anima, that whole Afterlife record should have been probably dominating the top 10 along with This Never Happened, but I get that that's just personal preference. I think that list has devolved into just a popularity contest. It probably always has been. I knew that back when Hardwell started winning. I've never
Right.
considered him the best DJ or producer in the world. I don't know what the fuck their criteria is either, so I don't know. It's a deeply flawed system. It is the Rotten Tomatoes of electronic music. It should not be trusted, but good for whoever gets the badge, I guess,
Right.
And the last bit of news this week, the When We Were Young Fest was announced in probably the sickest way I've ever fucking seen, with a poster full of a bunch of CDs that you and I both probably own, scattered across like that pinkish carpet that they use for a lot of their backdrop and marketing.
Yep.
And it wasn't just a clever way of announcing the bands, it was a way of telling you what album front to back these bands are going to perform, which seems to be a new wrinkle in the festival and one that I'm really on board with. What about you?
It's kind of a shame that Fall Out Boy just refuses to do full albums, but I honestly think that that's so fucking cool, man. Chiodos doing All's Well That Ends Well. I don't think it's going to be with the original lineup. It'll probably just be Drugs doing Chiodos songs. But yeah, man, I think the concept of having albums played front to back is crazy. And Coheed has confirmed that they are indeed getting a 77-minute time slot for their album.
Good God, dude. I mean, that's the thing is you go into this thinking it's going to be Warped Tour. All these bands are going to have 30 minutes. Seems that they are going a little less bands, a little more length with the sets, which I think is going to just be good all around, both in terms of the turnaround times and the quality of the audio that you're getting from these bands.
Right.
What album performance beginning to end are you like hypothetically most excited to see, assuming that they stream it?
Oh, Chiodos. All's Well That Ends.
Chiodos, yeah.
Easy.
I mean, not to be that guy, but I did see that album perform back when it came out, and it's a heater, man.
For sure.
I believe Under Oath is doing They're Only Chasing Safety, which is obviously their best album and the one they're going to do. But I've seen Under Oath 4 or 5 times, and I've never seen them play Reinventing Your Exit. For some reason, I don't think they like to play that song live, probably because of the amount of clean vocals Aaron has to do while drumming through that shit.
Right.
I think, yeah, that's going to be a fucking sick moment. I know they played that one live in full on a few tours recently because they were doing full album tours when they reunited. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to kick ass. I think they should stream it.
Yep.
Selfishly, I think that they should stream it. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a much needed improvement over this year's more punk heavy lineup, but maybe every year is going to be something different. I kind of like that too.
Yeah, I agree to that. And people who have more time than I have, they actually did a little sleuthing. And if you zoom in on that photograph of all the CDs underneath Dashboard CD, there's a little Easter egg. It is,
what is it?
Tell All Your Friends by Taking Back Sunday, but they're not announced on the lineup. But there's just a little corner popping out, and people who know, you know?
Oh, God. Yeah. That green is infamous, man. You just know.
So I thought that was
be
interesting.
Fucking sick. There's often times when things, get announced online and fans start booking their fantasy festival moments. I remember when Warped Tour was ending, everybody was like, My Chem has to be the last band to play the last one, and they have to play like Helena last.
Yeah.
And it's all this like shit like that. I think Taking Back Sunday coming on last after everybody's played as like an unknown time slot to do Tell All Your Friends is within the realm of possibility.
We'll see what happens, man.
And to circle back to Fall Out Boy, I do get why they're breaking it, because if they're going to do one album, it would probably be From Under the Cork Tree, but then you're not going to hear Grand Theft Autumn, you're not going to hear Dead on Arrival, you're not going to hear fucking Saturday, yeah. But I feel like the negative side is like, hey, you guys can't play anything after Infinity on High either. Like, we'll let you play An Evening Out with Your Girlfriend through Infinity on High, but I don't think Foila Deluxe or whatever, anything after that should even be attempted to play. That is not what people are there for.
Absolutely not. It's called When We Were Young, and, it is what it is.
I am hoping that we get like, I don't know, there's a lot of kind of secret vocal collaborations on the back half of From Under the Cork Tree with like Brendan Urie, the lead singer of the Academy is. I would love to see some of them come out and do their parts.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty fun, man.
It would be.
Didn't Brendan Urie retire?
So yes.
Or is he pulling Logic?
I mean, I think Panic at the Disco is done. I don't think he's retired as a person. So he's very young to be doing that. Probably has the money to do it, though. Yeah. But I didn't even think about that. So you and I, we can just say right now, are not going to this festival. Like, it's not that we don't want to. It's that the logistics are a lot. And I was talking with my wife and I was like, what band is it? Like, who needs to be on it to where you're just like, I don't care what I have to go through. I'm going to do this. I said from first to last, doing Dear Diary front
Right.
to back would probably be the closest I'd get. I still don't know if I would do it, but I think I would at least have to contemplate it seriously. I don't know, man. If Panic said they're doing a Fever to Sweat Out and Ryan Ross is going to be there,
That's
that's
close.
tempting.
It's close.
That's tempting, and that is me not wanting to do anything with Panic at the Disco anymore. So
Right.
I don't know. Remains to be seen. I love that there's a potential surprise though. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I really hope that they find a way to stream it because I would really love to sit on my couch and watch that and not spend $2,500 to go to Las
Bet
Vegas.
your ass. And I think they know everybody that can't be there is going to be just on their fucking couch that weekend because we're all burnouts that used to
Right.
go to work tour and would love to just enjoy this from the comfort of our own home.
Right,
Uh,
exactly.
that does it for our music news items this week. In terms of like non-major bulletin items, we got Gallant releasing a new album tonight, which
Oh
I am very
yeah.
fucking excited about with Terrace Martin. Their project is called Sneak. We will definitely be covering that next week.
Something
All
we
right.
will not be covering that just dropped though is Bedrock Records just released a compilation, a 2 CD compilation mixed by Mr. John Digweed himself. That will that's going to be released. I think it was just released on Bandcamp. I don't even know if it's going to be on Spotify, so we probably won't cover it. But I'm excited for that one.
But people should check it out.
Oh yeah, they should.
Definitely should. Yeah, man, there's going to be a lot of good music dropping tonight. Do you want to cover this new Drake Scary Hours 3 that was announced today?
Wait, I'm sorry. Is that's real? I've had a very busy day, so I was not
I
aware of
I
that.
think the first two Scary Hours are an EP. They're both EPs. The first one's like 2 songs, and the next one was like 3 or 4 songs. So it's
Yeah,
going to be a
fuck it.
minor release, but yeah. It's going backseat to Andre 3000's Flute album, though. Best believe that.
Straight up. Hey, yo, Entree, play some jazz flute for us.
The memes have been incredible. Lupe said he doesn't give a fuck. He's going to rap all over these songs. Lupe
Oh,
Fiasco rules.
Lupe Wood.
Yes, and I hope he does. All right, let's move into it. So we
Let's
got
get
the
it.
first song on the playlist this week is the new one from Dua Lipa, Houdini. What do you think of it?
You know, man, Dua Lipa has a knack for making extremely catchy songs, and this is obviously no exception. I love the production on this. It's got like that dirty Dutch house bass line mixed with like 80s synths. It's a banger. There's no denying.
It's sure, it's fine. I don't think it's like one of the better pops. I think it's a really good pop song that is well produced. I think she does her part on it, but I think on the spectrum of great pop this year, it's still near the bottom for me.
That's fair.
Got a new one from Mac Weather, an artist I have not heard about, but we're covering the song because it has Amine and Biba Doobie on it. It's called Fear of Flying, and those are two artists that we love. And surprisingly, I'm just not a fan of the way this one came together. What about you?
Really? I think this is a
I
bop.
You would. No, it's I don't know. I gave it a few
Fuck is that
chances.
supposed
It's
to mean?
just I'm just joking, dude. It's too disjointed for me. It feels
That's
like
fair.
I don't know. It's very Chat GPT put this group of,
Okay. Hey,
it
that's
feels
fair
like
too.
you know what it is? It's the Benny Pusha T Phoenix song. It's just three artists that I'm like, what?
So the future is now, old man. Hey, yeah, there is nothing though. There's nothing quite like the feeling of seeing a song where two fantastic artists that do not mesh well are on the same track. I think the feeling of just like seeing that, like I saw Amine and Biba Dube on this on this track, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be weird, and it was, but I think it's a pop.
I mean, I think Amine kills his verse as
Right.
always, but no, I did not love the other two sections.
Super fair.
This one I did love. It is Neo and Fabulous. This is the link up remix. Never heard the original. Do not need to. This is mid aughts gold. This is the new best song of 2008. It is playing in my apartment back in Yuba City on repeat right now somehow. I fucking love this, dude. The old head in me ate every second of this up. What about you?
Yeah, man, this Neo and Fabulous on the same track is sending me right back to I said '06, but your '08 is probably more accurate here. This is great, dude. This is fantastic. This is really really good.
Fabulous can still rap his ass off when he wants to, dude. So good.
Absolutely, he can.
Dude, definitely. All right, what are your thoughts on the new Two Chainz and Lil Wayne? The song's called Long Story Short. The album's dropping tonight.
I really liked it, man. I think Lil Wayne is posturing to come back pretty hard with the Carter Six, man. Hopefully, all the hype and features he's been doing are indications that he'll kill it. Because I really did like this feature. The Benny feature last week was good too. Two Chainz is someone I've never really followed very closely, but I like a lot of the tracks he's on. So interesting.
Yeah, I thought this one worked as well. And in the run of great shit Wayne has kind of been doing lately, you're leaving out his appearance at the fucking Fuji's
Yep.
performance where he came out and just freestyled the sickest fucking verse I've heard him do in a while, dude. Guy still has it. Whether or not he taps into it, it remains to be seen on every project, but we'll always give him the benefit of the doubt.
You give Lil Wayne a blunt and a mic, and there's one of two things will happen. He'll absolutely kill it, or he will not, and he also won't care.
Yeah, like there's always some combination of blunt and lean, but it has to be like the right ratio at the time he's recording over the right beat to get that Wayne. And it's all worth it, man. We let him just do his thing. He'll give us what we need when it's time.
Right, exactly.
All right, we got a new one from Armani White called Breathe. I love this one. What about you?
Yeah, man, this beat is straight fire.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like his style can probably be a little word salady to people because he's just so good at rhyming the same sound, like one word after one word. It sounds so fast the way it's hitting.
Yep,
But I don't know, man. I think I would prefer this style over a lot of the other modern styles that are hitting right now.
that's fair.
All right, new one from Tierra Whack, Chanel Pitt. I love her. I think the song is good. I hate the hook though. What about you?
John, this is terrible. It's hilarious, but it's terrible.
That is Tierra Whack. I think that's exactly what you would want you to say. I don't know, man. It's weird because she's so talented. Hulu's doing a fucking documentary about her right now.
Are
That's
they
coming out
really?
later this week. I think it's going to be a series, but she's the first artist. Yeah, and it like has footage of her like back in 2011, like in the streets of Philly, just like freestyling with people and shit.
Tight.
She could rap. This is like her trying to be her weird creative self. It's just this one didn't land for me, and it doesn't sound like it did for you either.
No, it's hilarious though.
Yes, and good for her. It should be. This one between Peggy Gao and Lenny Kravitz is up next. What a combination. I believe in love again. This is a match made in heaven. They sound phenomenal together.
Yeah, they really do sound very good together. Peggy Gao is actually, I think, nominated for a Grammy, maybe
It goes
not.
like,
I think so.
yeah.
I expected something a little different, but and it didn't really live up to what I expected when I saw both of their names. But it's a good track.
Oh, it sound. I knew it was gonna have a little of different sound with Lenny on it. It was kind of what I expected.
It's a little
Good for her
different.
on the Grammy nomination.
Yep.
She definitely deserves it. But see, like, It Goes Like is a very good song, but like, why are songs like Amplify by Rodriguez Jr. not getting a nomination? Like
Straight up.
there's some weird omissions there as far as I'm concerned. They need more people at least on their consulting board to show them what else is out there. It seems like what they're being given as submissions is extremely limited.
Yeah, nobody at the Grammys at the Grammy Academy has any idea who Rodriguez Jr. is, bro.
They're like, just got that new Feather and Bones limited vinyl.
Right, exactly.
All right, we got a new one from Anima, RG, and Magnus called Higher Power. What are your thoughts on it?
Anima's just been putting straight bangers out, man. I think this track is fantastic. I think that when he works with vocalists, I think it works, and it definitely worked on this one for me.
Yeah, he's just on a roll, man. I don't know what
Yep.
this is going to be part of since his album is already out, but I love that they're just not stopping. It seems like he has a ton more music ready to come out already.
Good.
Yep, we are ready for it. All right, we got a new one from Teenage Mutants called Doppelganger. You a fan?
Yeah, this is some drony progressive tech house, man. It's really neat stuff if you ask me. I really like the drums on this one. It's interesting.
Yeah, very spacey, very cool. I enjoyed it as well.
Right.
We got two new ones from Tycho, Small Sanctuary and Time to Run. It's Tycho, man. It's some good funky chill wave. You a fan?
Yeah, man. Even after he did that album with vocals, it's still kind of weird to hear vocals on his tracks.
Yeah.
Small Sanctuary is pretty minimalistic. It's really chill. Time to Run is way more of that classic Tycho sound that I like. I did like both of them though.
Yeah, I think he's kind of getting back to his root sound. Even though the vocals like will throw you off, it's still I don't know, the music with the vocal stuff felt different. This feels like Tycho to me.
Yep.
Maybe I'm being pedantic. I don't know. We got a new one from Ty Segall called My Room. I thought this one was okay. What about you?
Uh, Man, this guy is all over the place. One of the
He
more
is.
traditional style songs he's released for this album rollout. I met my first human being who also knew who Ty Segall was the other day. Um,
What a moment.
I know, right? Somebody was controlling the aux at work, and I heard something from the Face Melting album, and I was like, wait, is somebody? I checked my phone. I'm like, am I connected to the Bluetooth?
Yeah, man. I'm sure you assumed when you heard this song, you're like, ah, it's probably not riffy enough for John. A little too indie. I thought it was good though.
Yeah, well, this weird album is shaping up really weirdly, and I cannot tell you how very much Ty Segall that is.
Yeah, that album is called Three Bells. It comes out January 26th. We will definitely be checking that one out.
Yep.
All right, we got a new one from the Palms called Ready or Not. I'm not digging this one, man. It's giving me like Diet MGMT vibes. Am I wrong?
I I think you might be, man. I really
Hit me.
dig the psychedelia that they're tapping into on this one, dude. It's only like 2 minutes and 52 seconds, but those last 52 seconds kind of like I can see diet MGMT, but I can also see influence taken from MGMT and
Right.
utilized in a different way.
Yeah, I will cede that. All right, we got a new one from Levitation Room called Heaven. I like it, but this I don't know how to describe. This sounds like it's already a song. Like I don't know what I like. It's so familiar, but it's not. I don't know. It's good. I liked it, but there was a weird feeling I got when listening to it. What about you?
Interesting. This just this band's from LA, kind of indie rock. They don't put out music that's quite as sleepy as this, so I blindly added it. But this is a little sleepy, but I think it's well written, man. You think it's plagiarism?
No, I don't think it's not the writing. It's just like the I don't know something about the melody or the riff. I don't know.
That's no, that's
I don't
cool.
think it's plagiarism at all. I could not place what it sounds like. I don't, it wasn't reminding me of like a really popular song or anything. I feel like some bands just have this ability to write a song and it sounds like it's always been a part of their sets or like of their
Interesting.
discography.
No, no, I totally know that feeling. There's got to be a word for it, but I can't. I don't know it.
Words are hard, man. All right. We got a new one from Shower Beer and So called One More Shot. This one fucking rocks. Shout out Shower Beers. I'm a big fan of this one. What about you?
Shower Beers is really sticking to their mission statement. Make pop punk that pumps you up during a pregame. This fits that to a T, man. Love to see. I always love to see Shower Beers on the playlist, man. It's always. I know I'm always in for a good time, and no exception here.
Yeah, hopefully this is leading to a new EP or something.
Yep.
Got a new one from Stand Atlantic called Sex on the Beach. You've always been a bigger fan of them than me. Did you enjoy this?
Nope.
Okay, because I was like, I cannot get into this one, man. I don't know if this is just another example or a bad example, but I did not like it.
No, this is different than what they've done throughout, and I don't think I'm going to be listening to the rest of the singles. This is way too pop, way too fast. It does this kind of like disjointed, quiet, then loud thing, but it's not like done well. Like when that's done in more traditional styles of music, it can be done extremely well and work for the track. And like Deftones does that extremely well, but this is not that. So
Yeah, I think they did it more well on the album that they put out last year or whatever, but it's just not working on this one.
yep, I agree.
All right, next up we got some Canadian sad boy punk. We got Fucked Up's new song "Show Friends." I'm kind of loving it. What about you?
Punk rock with a little bit of variety thrown in, man. I love the structure of this track. It just kind of like builds and changes, but it comes back to that riff at the end. Yeah, man,
Yep,
this is legit.
it's really good stuff. We got a new one from Split System called "End of the Night." It's thrashy alt rock done right. I'm a fan. What about you?
Yeah, man, this is almost like familiar sounding rock to me, dude. But this is right where I like it, man.
Okay. I'm just gonna dish to you for this next one right away. It's the new one from Caligula's Horse, Gollum. Talk to me.
I am a huge fan of Caligula's Horse. I
Yes, you
discovered
are.
them late in 2021 after they had released their album Rise Radiant. This has given me a lot of time to sit with their catalog, and I've liked the vast majority of what they've done. The main riff in this track is crunchy, the breakdown is tight, the vocals are fantastic, and I love the addition of some harsher vocals peppered into this
Hmm.
one, which they typically do not do.
Oh,
I
interesting.
am very excited for this album. They released the track list for it, and there's a 4 song suite of the same song, just titled 1 through 4, or
Part one,
four
part
different
two.
tracks. Yeah,
Yep.
and that should be very interesting. Knowing them, they're very good at bleeding tracks together, like they do with Marigold and Bloom on their album Bloom. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one, man. This one should be very good.
Should I start making the Vince McMahon meme of you already for part one, part two, part three, part four? I feel like we're going to be heading that direction. Yeah, dude, the
Right.
second I heard this, I was not too familiar with them, but I was like, oh, I can see why Brandon's so excited for this, dude. This one rocks. I'm a big fan.
Awesome.
Did you say this was your song of the week?
No, but it probably should be. I don't think I picked a song of the week. Actually,
Okay.
been a busy week.
You're telling me, brother. All right, we got yeah, this only adds to the fever dream this week was we got a new one from Megan the Stallion and Spirit Box. It's the remix of Cobra. We did not cover the original version of Cobra. It sounds like this, but not metalcore. Uh I think this is a mess, man. I think this is a great spot for Spirit Box. I think that people need to give Willow and Demi Lovato their influential credit immediately, but this is not for me. What about you?
Okay, this is terrible, but it's kind of a banger. Like that. That's kind of how
No,
I
I
feel,
agree
man.
100%. I agree 100%.
It's honestly, I'm pretty surprised that they let I forget her name from Spirit Box, but the vocalist sing on this track. I really thought it was going to be some instrumentals and then maybe her screaming into a chorus when I
Hmm.
saw this, but they actually let Spirit Box fill out quite a bit of this track, and that is surprising for Meg. But
I wonder if she had a say in that because I feel like Meg would probably be like, "Oh, if the girl can sing, let her fucking sing. I don't give a shit." Like Meg seems like a very cool chick when it comes to shit like that. She does not care. She's always willing to try and help.
nice.
I remember like during the pandemic, she was on a remix of like a BTS song that I don't think like their label wanted to release and they did and like she ends up working her way and the song comes out. Like I don't know. This is not for me, but I'm glad it exists.
Right.
All right, we got a new one from God Awful called Keep My Name. This one fucking rules, man. What are your thoughts on it?
So my boy Christian introduced me to this band. Shout out to
Of
Christian.
course. Shout out Christian.
The first time I heard her voice, I didn't like it. Now I just can't get enough of it, man. The
Oh,
yells,
it's great.
the yelly screams are just perfect on this one, man. Hardcore is such a goofy culture, but man, this one hits.
Man, every time I see some videos online from hardcore shows, like It's funny because I think it's vintage footage. It's not. Hardcore shows have just always looked the exact same. Like it's hilarious. Even the people in the crowd look the same now as they did 20
Right.
years ago. It's hilarious. It's a genre that lovingly does not change, and I think that's what everybody loves about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I even sent you the Static Dress in a basement
Oh yeah,
video.
Static Dress. You sent me the Koyo recently
Yep,
playing
yep.
live too, which
They're
not
all the
really
same.
hardcore, but kind of. Yeah. Yeah, it's it's ridiculous, man, but it's fucking beautiful. Go to
Right.
shows, people. Have fun.
Exactly.
Got a new one from Extinction AD called Prodigal Scum. You digging this one?
This one got me, dude. I almost
Of
skipped
course
over
it
it
did.
when I was previewing tracks to add, but I came back to it and it just fucking rips. This is some thrashy, metallic, hardcore, and these kind of gritty vocals fit the band so well. I really liked this one.
Same, man. I could definitely mosh to this
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. Throw some bows, crowd kill some people.
God, I haven't thrown a bow in so long, man. I need to throw a bow. All right, we got a new one from Bipolar Architecture called Death of the Architect. This this has some balls to it, you know?
Oh,
Like
oh, it sure does.
I think I got back hair while listening to this. It's fucking sick, dude. It's really heavy. I dug it though.
Really heavy. I've been wary of the genty riffs lately, but interesting way to structure their song. They've just got this like weird instrumentation style that should be explored.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Please more people explore this style.
Right?
Okay, so we got two new tracks from See You Next Tuesday, Repeating Patterns, and The Sweetest Pot. Both of them have some features. These were a little too grindy for me, but you're a much bigger fan of like the extreme side of metal. So did these do it for you?
No idea. They're only 30 seconds. I couldn't. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I really like. I liked the vocal features, man. They are just so fast. It is just in your face, balls to every wall that you can
Yeah.
find. It is. It is. It's See You Next Tuesday. What do you expect?
Yeah, it's two songs. It's a minute and 9 seconds.
Exactly.
Oh man. Okay, so capping off the singles this week.
I knew
We're
you
going
were going
from
to be
See
mad
You
at me.
Next Tuesday. No, I had to put it here.
I
I
know.
put
I know.
this Cascade song here because it was the funniest fucking spot to put it. We got Cascade's new single off of his upcoming Christmas album. This is Caroline. I hate this so much,
I
but
know
I
you
think
do.
I know you knew that. But as a big Cascade fan, and more specifically a Cascade Christmas fan, did you like it?
Yeah, man. Look, the Cascade Christmas album is such a beloved album around my house. It's because it's all of the Christmas songs that we're so sick of, but they're reimagined, and he does it in such, in his own style. I'm excited for this one, but I promise I won't add any more Christmas music to our playlist.
Oh, we're gonna do the album.
Okay, you want to? I really thought that you'd be opposed.
Uh, I feel like once we get closer to Christmas, we might need some albums to cover. We'll hold it for that.
All right, that sounds good.
All right, moving on to the EPs this week. We got a new one from Kiss of Life called Born to Be XX. So this is a brand new K-pop group. They have one release that predates this. It's an EP with like I think one or two group songs. What's a little different about them and what I kind of like what they're doing. They didn't do it on this release, but on that last one it's like let me look at it here. Two songs with the full group of girls, which there's four of them, and then the other four songs is a solo song for each of them. So they're essentially starting their solo career at the same time they're starting a group career. Kind of a weird concept. This album is a lot more of the group thing, but I feel like if you listen to the first EP, you can kind of pick out, much like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, like, oh, this is a Justin song, this is a JC song. Like it's very much
Right.
like that. Um, I thought this EP was solid, but the track Nobody Knows is like that's my favorite on here. It's got this kind of like Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande vibe to it. I fucking dug it. What about you though? Did you enjoy any of these?
Yeah, actually, looking into this group just very briefly, I found that they debuted in July, so like a few
Yep.
months ago, and they're dominating charts. That's insane. It's fun, it's confident, it's energetic, it's obviously full of passion. There is just so much K-pop out there right now. It's kind of staggering.
tons. And we will be covering a lot of it. And I follow a lot of
Good.
these artists now. So get ready, buddy.
I
Yeah,
think I love that dichotomy of our playlist, though.
me too.
I do deep, brutal death metal dives. You do deep K-pop vibes. It just kind of,
I mean, as evidenced by See You Next Tuesday into Cascade Christmas into Kiss of Life. Nobody Knows is my song of the week.
Hey, there you go.
All right, got a new EP from Drama called Till We Die. This is just nothing but bops and bangers. I
Yep.
fucking loved it, dude. What about you?
John, there is a reason that house music will never die, and that reason is because of the groove.
Mm-hmm.
Drama gets that, and all of these tracks have fantastic groove to them. It reminds me a bunch of like if like Lee Foss worked with more vocalists,
Sure.
but like added funk and soul into it. It's a high compliment coming from me. I'm a big fan of this
It
EP,
is.
especially the strings on Feel the Same. I think they've incorporated a lot of cool elements to their music, and this was a lot of fun to listen to.
It was. And what's interesting is like they feel like you said, kind of like a straight up house
Yeah,
outfit or
yeah,
like group, but really this is synth pop. Like they're
yeah.
set up like Marion Hill or Magdalena Bay. Like they're just making music that sounds so much more dancey. And obviously, like with bass lines from Flight Facilities helping on Dollar Short, it
Right.
really ties that whole vibe together.
Ties the
Uh,
room
th-
together.
they are a fucking great group. I believe one of them, if not both of them, are from Palestine though, and have been posting about a lot of the stuff that they are not. They're having to promote an album while horrible,
Uh,
horrible shit is happening back home right now,
yeah, it's
and
terrible.
I hope for the best for them, man. This is a beautiful work of art, and hopefully their people can enjoy it amid a very hard time.
Beautiful message.
All right, we got one more EP this week. It's another one from Santici, man. This is Espelora 3. We've covered the first two, right?
Yes, at
Yes,
least
I
one of
thought so.
them.
Yeah, man. He's 3 for 3 with these fucking 4 song slow burn EPs. He's killing it. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on it?
absolutely, man. This is the third and final installment of the Explorer series. All three of these EPs have just been in my rotation since they dropped. I even have the first two installments on vinyl, and they just invoke a very specific mood for me. It killed it, just absolutely killed it.
Yeah, it's beautifully done. Really good shit. I
Yep.
didn't know it was going to only be a trilogy. Yeah, it's cool. It's complete. Are you gonna get the last one on vinyl?
Maybe not.
Gotcha. Yeah. Fuck completionists, man. If you don't have OCD, don't let it control your life.
Exactly.
All right. Are you ready to move on to the albums?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Starting with the new one from Pink Pantheress called Heaven Knows. I think on its surface, it's a perfectly fine hyperpop album that should appeal to the semi-niche subgenre and break through to some more mainstream audiences in one way or another. But there's not enough on here to sink my teeth into. It leaves me thinking about it, or it never leaves me thinking about it or even wanting to come back to it, you know? Like, I
Yeah.
think the best song in the album by far is Boy's a Liar Part 2. It's not even close, man. Other than that, I feel like Nice to Meet You is probably going to be a semi hit. I think Central C has had a huge year, and this is
Yep.
a very big feature for him to get. But he fucking ruins it, dude. Her parts of that song are great. He comes in talking about cheating and rhymes risk it with biscuit, therefore rendering the song completely fucking dead to me. Other than that, I thought the opening track was really well produced, and you know I love the Kalila feature on Bury Me,
Of
but
course.
I really didn't love much else about this. I'm gonna give it a 5. I think it's objectively well made. The Boy's a Liar Part 2 is my standout. Shout out Ice Spice. How are you feeling about this one?
Oh man. Well, this is actually my very first introduction to Pink Pantheress. Have we covered any of her singles?
No, I
Maybe
kind of
one.
got into her because Givian covered one of her songs on like a live thing, and that's kind of the weird gateway I've had to her music. I don't think we've covered much.
Got it. All right. Well, this isn't what I expected. I actually thought Pink Pantheress was like a rap artist, but to me, it's pop music done in a very distinct way, man. The album starts with Another Life that kind of has this like break beat to it.
Yep.
You know that the production on this record is right up my alley. The vocal filters on this track are actually like refreshing. Also, it's not like typical auto tune. It's like something different.
Hmm.
This kind of set up the entire album for me. It actually surprised me. Mosquito is like this chill vibe, absolute earworm with those acoustic guitar riff licks happening in the back. The bass line on The Isle is just infectious to me. I'm like you said, I'm glad to see Central C doing a big feature on a big album, but he does ruin the song.
Yep. The song's not even about cheating. Like, what is he talking about?
Oh man, to me though, the standout on this one is production. These beats are just all immaculately produced on every single track. Feelings has this like tribal percussion, the breaks and the borderline D&B on some of these tracks are work very well for her voice. I think I actually enjoyed my time with this one. I'm going to give this one, it's somewhere between a 6 and a 7 for me. Like you said, I didn't ever feel the need to go back to it. I think I listened to it twice, but then that was it, you know? So that's where I'm at. The standout for me though is actually The Isle. The close runner up is obviously Boys the Liar Part 2, but the Isle just, it grabbed me, bro.
I think that's fair. I love that you are picking an album cut. I mean, I was hoping this one would appeal to you. I don't know. I went in knowing how big of a name she is and have heard her previous music that's kind of blown up at this point. So I guess I had expectations, and I don't think it falls short of the expectations. It's just like one of those. I watched Mission Impossible 4 the other day, or 3. I watched Mission Impossible 3 the other day. Really good movie. Second it was over, didn't remember a fucking thing about it, dude. Couldn't tell you, like, Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it. That's all I fucking remember. Really good, though. Like, really good. Like, this is kind of the same thing. That's modern pop.
I love that analogy, John.
I'm glad it worked. It's the only way I can think of. All right. Are you ready to move on to the Rick Ross and Meek Mill collab album, Too Good to Be True?
You know I had to throw it on here, right?
I do, and I'm very curious to know your thoughts, so please give me them.
I threw this on here, man. It's just been an arid desert this year for rap comparing to other years, of course.
So bad, yeah.
You also know that I've always got a soft spot for Meek Mill's projects, and since Rick seems to always do better on a feature, an entire album where Rick is half instead of the whole thing seems like it would be a good setup for him. Look, man, this album is good, but it's been done over and over and over again for years. Maybe it's just rap fatigue for me, but it just feels like everything blurs together on this one, even though there's like distinct production and a couple of interesting samples and a couple of bars that are great. But I don't dislike it, but man, it didn't do anything to make me like it more than anything else either of them have ever done. My standout is Gold Medals. It's a 5.
Yeah, man, I think you really said it, dude. Like, much like the Pink Pantheress album, I think on the surface it's fine. I just don't really care for it, I guess. It's like, I like Ross, his beats are good, his rhymes are memorable usually, but like none of that really translates here. I've never really cared for Meek's music, and this project just didn't change that for me. It sounds exactly how you would expect for a Rick Ross and Meek Mill project to sound, and I think that's disappointing. I wanted it. Both of these guys have the money to make something much better than that. I'll say this. If DJ Khaled can buy better music than this, then so can they. But like, man, my prayers of some of the features breathing life into this album even went unanswered. I feel like everyone fell flat, dude. Just chalk this one up as a swing and a miss for me. I'm going to give it a 4. I guess Shaq and Kobe is my standout. And also, I guess bonus points to them for getting Shaquille O'Neal to do a remix of Shaq and Kobe.
That's why they couldn't afford better beats, bro. Shaq broke their bank.
God,
there was one.
He's charging much.
There's really only one line. There's like really only one bar that like stood out to me, and at this point I can't even remember it. I didn't write it down, but I remember thinking to myself, oh, okay, that was clever. But like, that's the one time it happened on this album. So
I love how you couldn't even remember it.
Can't even remember it, man. And you know what, man, Meek Mill has always got something to kind of yell about, but I've always just kind of liked it. So man, I have not even been a big fan of his like very well received music, so I didn't know if it was just me on this, but man, I'm not seeing anybody talking about this one online, good or bad, which is a bad thing. Honestly, I had the choice between this and the Larry June album to throw on here this week, and I should have thrown the Larry June album on.
Probably should. It's always Larry June season. Okay, let's move on to this new one from The Beaches, semi-new one. This one is called Blame My Ex. This has been in my rotation for a while now. It's on my short list for alternative indie rock albums of the year, so I was like, he's got to hear it before we get to the
Right.
end of the year. The list of things that I would like about this band and this album go on forever, so I'm just gonna leave it at I love this fucking album. The opening track, perfect thesis for what they're doing. What doesn't kill you makes you paranoid is almost too relatable. And I think My Body featuring Your Lips might have just market corrected cigarettes after sex in real time. Kind of remains to be seen, but man, I'm a huge fan of this. I have it at like a 9. My standouts are the tracks I just mentioned, but I really just want your thoughts on this one.
Hey, look, man, this album's a lot of fun. It's danceable pop rock with relatable lyrics. That's something that you know that I like a lot. This
Hmm.
obviously is not very complex, but that was actually extremely welcome this week due to how much heavy and how much complexity we had with some of the other
Yeah, it really
releases we're
worked
getting.
out.
It's easy listening, and while rough around certain edges, the entire experience is just soft and welcoming. Blame Brett starts the album off by naming and blaming someone for every toxic trait that she may have. Me and Me has this sort of apathetic empowerment to it. Kismet is such an energetic track, man. I honestly felt like I was watching a movie.
Yep.
I was watching like a rom com. Matthew McConaughey is somewhere in the room. Shower Beer is fantastic. I love the line, "Can you wash my hair? I've got my hands full." Presumably because of beer. It's just a funny image, man. Something I think a lot of simple music like this misses is just that. It's imagery, man. Something
Yes.
the Beaches kill it in that in regarding imagery on this album, man. They've got a way with words that tells a story without any needing for it to be like thematic to the album, even though it is like it's tied in, but it's not, it doesn't follow a theme, you know?
Yep.
I liked this. And while it's not my favorite album, the album of the year, I think we're all better off for having heard it. It's somewhere between a 7 and an 8 for me for sure.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I
Yeah,
sure did.
it's super breezy, and I did not even think I threw this on, I think, before we even threw any other albums on. But yeah, it really worked as like kind of a palate cleanser between some more complex and weirder shit.
Yep.
And they are actually doing very well for themselves. This is their second album. My wife showed me them, big surprise. And they had like announced a tour that was coming through here, right? It sold out on the pre-sale.
Oh
And
my
then like
gosh.
she was super bummed because she had like just discovered them, was very excited
Aw.
that they were going to be playing here, and then it was like sold out. And so then they post like, oh, general sale hasn't even gone on sale yet. And like we're pretty sure it never did here. Like it just sold out entirely through pre-sale. So like, man, a lot of people are very much into them right now, which I think is very good for them. They are coming back and they're playing like a Christmas festival here, but we might just wait it out till their next tour.
That's
They
awesome,
are
man.
they're
Good for
really good
them.
though, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the album too.
Yeah, your wife has always had great music taste, so I'm not surprised she showed you them.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
All right, let's talk about this Johnny Booth album, Moments Elsewhere. Good fucking God, man. I really liked this one. I feel like you knew I would.
Yep.
They have just this like really unique blend of like, I don't know, help me if I'm wrong, but like mathy metalcore and anthemic alt rock.
Yep.
It helps separate them from other similar bands in those genres. That combination, like, it can result in some fucking awesome moments, and it often does on this album. But it can also leave like a slight feeling of inconsistency, I guess, as the album goes on. That didn't really bug me though. I enjoyed this one every time it came on this week, and I look forward to listening to it some more, man. I hit the follow button. I'm gonna give it a 7. My standout is obviously Collapse in the Key of Fireworks, but there's a lot of winners on here, man. Thank you for showing me this one. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, you know, you and everyone listening to this podcast regularly are well aware that I like unrelenting music a lot.
Yes.
That's typically in the form of the heavier, like metal subgenres. But this specific release flew under my radar when it dropped in July, and I'm gonna be real, man. I'm pretty sad that it flew under me, that it flew under my radar, man. A couple of weeks ago, I checked it out for the first time, and it hit a spot, bro. Like it hit a spot that I didn't know needed to be hit here. This is just, it's metallic hardcore. like historic. It's thrashy. It's melodic at times. It's got breakdowns. It's got the one track that slows it all down. When that when why becomes how,
Yep.
and it absolutely fucking shreds the entire way through. This album, Moments Elsewhere, is Johnny Booth's third studio album and their second self-released album, which I think is fucking cool. I had never heard of them before listening to this album, but this one has made me a fucking certified fan. Collapse in the Key of Fireworks is just a banger, man. The way that breakdown comes in is something neat. Full Tilt has this like raw energy that speaks to me. You know what this album reminded me of? This album reminds me of the first time I heard Beartooth during their Disgusting album cycle.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
nostalgic yet brand new. It's raw yet well mixed, and it is just all bangers. Every musician in this band has a moment to shine. The guitarist on The Ladder with that frenetic riff, the drummer on Only by Name, the bassist on Ring Light Altar, and the vocalist on Why Becomes How. They obviously shine together on every track, but I really like it when bands give members a way to stand out, if only for like a moment on a track or like a song on an album. We get the classic hardcore track with the aptly named Gatekeeper, where the vocalist proudly proclaims his ownership of the scene. I know this is tongue-in-cheek, but I just fucking love it, man. This is my town, end up face down, motherfucker. Two breakdowns in that track also. It's just it's amazing, man. Suffice it to say, I love this album. I'm so glad we got to review it. Good job, Johnny Booth. You guys knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna give it's somewhere between an 8 and a 9 for me. My standouts are Collapse in the Key of Fireworks or Full Tilt. Either one of those songs are just insane.
It'll take time to see if it's higher than any of them, but yeah, it's definitely in the same conversation as like Dreamwell and Koyo.
Yep.
It just kind of came out of nowhere and blew me the fuck away. I loved it.
Good, man. I'm glad.
Yes. All right. Moving on, we got a new one from a band I'm gonna assume is pronounced Sanguisugabogg?
Nope.
Sure. Hit me.
It's Sanguisugabogg. Close.
That makes too much sense. Don't say it. The album's called Homicidal Ecstasy. Hit me with your thoughts on it, man.
Oh, man. It actually means something. It's like a combination of words and some weird language. This album came out earlier this year. I've been listening to it ever since it dropped. We've had so many busy weeks, though, and I just never had the opportunity to add it to the playlist. Well, the time is now, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts, but here are mine. This album fucks. It's got that same energy that Creeping Death had with their release. It's got skull-crushing death metal with the ever-so-obvious hardcore influence that still doesn't push it into the deathcore category of things due to like the song structures. These dudes blew up in the scene. I was watching death metal documentaries, as one does, and this band was popping up all over the world at heavy festivals, small shows, and this album release being on Century Media, I think really helped them market it appropriately. It's heavy, it's catchy, it's got trash can snare sounds, it's caveman metal, man. Everything you want in an underground death metal record. But what I love is the structure of the songs. Black Market Vasectomy really sets the stage for the album. About halfway through, there's like would you call that a beat switch? The grooves change with the drums leading the way, and they kind of just bring it all back together, man. This is a formula that they have down pat, and they utilize it throughout the entire record, but they find a way to keep it fresh the entire time, I feel. I love it when death metal can be catchy, man. I think a lot of death metal is too death metal and not enough catchy.
I agree.
I think they found a way to do that really well without sounding derivative of any other death metal bands. That's a win in and of itself, man. I'm a fan of this one. I'd be surprised if you weren't a fan of it. This is an 8 for me. Fiending for Bloodshed is just is my favorite song on the album.
I am a fan of it. I don't know about quite as much as you, but I definitely enjoyed it, dude. It's a really fun album. Like that relentless chugging over just masterful drumming is a formula that's going to work every single time. I think I was hoping for a little more of a dynamic range when it came to the vocals, but this doesn't seem like an album that really cares what I want, and I can respect that, dude. It doesn't mean I have to love it, but I do really enjoy it. I love that you've had songs like Testicular Rot and Necrosexual Deviant just in your playlist all year.
Yep.
And haven't let me know. I'm glad you've shared them with me now, man. Yeah, dude, it's really good. I'm going to give it like a 6.5. My standout is Black Market Vasectomy. That one just rips. rips. No pun
Fantastic.
intended, actually.
That's funny. Yeah, man. Great record, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you, man. All right, man. We got a new one from the Anchoret called "It All Begins with Loneliness." So, or correction, it all began with loneliness. I rarely describe prog metal albums as sexy, but I really don't know how else to describe this, man. His guitar playing is fucking sexy. It's
It
just like
is.
soaring above everything. I don't think the vocals did quite as much for me as the music did, but that's not to say his vocals are not impressive. Some of the notes he hits on here are fucking insane, dude.
Yep.
I don't know if this is something I'll return to. I have no idea. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I really liked it for what it was this week. I'm gonna give it a 7. My standout is A Dead Man. I think that's just a killer song. What about you?
Hey, I'm glad you liked it, man. Look, man, I forgive me. I know that this is a pretty dense album instrumentally, and where it's a busy week, but I have just been sitting on it for a few weeks, and I just needed to talk to somebody about it. And the void that is our podcast is the way to go for me. Released on Willowtip, which normally releases just disgustingly heavy death metal. This one is not that. It's
No.
heavy. It's heavy in its own way, though. I love a lot about this album. People who do not like prog metal probably won't like anything about this album. They wrote you.
No.
They rope you in with the flute right up front, man. Really interesting to hear jazz flute in a metal album, but here we are, 2023. They're not even the first to do it this year. The double bass drum grooves are great. That sparse yet timely blast beats are done well. The synth solos, like at the end of A Dead Man, are done very well. The saxophone is smooth as hell, and it comes out of like seemingly nowhere, yet works so well, like in the track Someone Listening. The tremolo picking on Buried, the fantastic riffs on All Turns to Clay, the passages where the drums are just fucking going with the vocals over it, like on Unafraid, that bass solo also on Unafraid. Look, man, the way the instruments just kind of fall off and another one takes its place as if a seamless transition all on the same track are just... That's one of my favorite things in prog music. The piano intro on Stay, all of this comes together in like a metal jazz fusion. Not quite like other bands we've heard do this. No, the Anchoret makes it accessible for basically anyone as none of this is very heavy, right? As opposed to like White Ward or Rivers of Nile, who incorporate saxophone into their music, but they are far too heavy for most casual rock listeners to enjoy. And you know, as many other progressive metal or rock bands do, there's plenty of noodling instruments throughout this album. And Edward Levitsky, who is the guy who produced and arranged all the instruments, really knows his way around some sheet music. Clearly. I've been listening to this album for about 3 or 4 weeks, so I've had a lot more time to sit with it than you have. And while reading the lyrics like this, seems like this is a record about falling away from religious faith and the emotional yo-yo that comes with something so profound. The instrumental passages are conveying emotion just as much as the lyrical content and vocals are, man. I love this album, John, and I didn't want the new music year to end without covering it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm sure, as most prog albums are, I enjoyed it more than you did. It's somewhere between an 8 and a 9 for me. Standout is Forsaken, man. That song is just 7.5 minutes of prog prowess, man. Like,
Well, definitely should have let you go first. That was beautiful, man.
thanks.
You had a much more well-written review for that one than me. Yeah, dude, it's a great album. I can see why you wanted to get it on there so bad. I'm sure it's going to be, if not like on your overall list, at least a genre-specific list for you internally for the end of year stuff. It's very well made.
I think so too. I'm glad you enjoyed it, bro.
Yes, for sure, man. All right, let's wrap this week up with a new album from the Psychedelic Porn Crumpets called Franzoli. Holy shit, man. It's another Porn Crumpets album.
Yep.
Where do we even start? What are your thoughts on this one, please?
So my thoughts on this one are yes, thank you, please again. This entire
Yep.
album is just, man, they do fuzz so well. And it's not like that shoegaze kind of like feedback fuzz. No, no. It's like we bought this guitar pedal from a thrift store 40 years ago and we're using it still today kind of fuzz. They've got some of the best song names in the business. They've got a couple of tracks on this album that kind of like slow it down a little bit, which is not in character for them as much as some of their other records are. But man, it really doesn't slow it down that much, bro. There's songs like what is it? All Aboard the SS. I forget the name of the song. Hold on. Uh,
All aboard the
SS Sinker.
SS Sinker, yes.
Yep. And then you get songs like Illusions of Grandeur. I mean, dude, they come right out the gate with this Newtmare song, and just everything about this album is fucking great, dude. They've got the music or the TV and the movie samples up front. I couldn't tell you where these samples are from, but they've got everything I like in a psychedelic rock album, and they're just going to continue to keep fucking handling. Why is it that the Australian boys always know how to do psychedelic music better than any other country in the fucking world?
I have that in my notes too. Like, I think that between them and King Gizzard, it's really hard to argue that Australia is not the mecca of psychedelic rock music right now,
Right?
if not all rock music. Like, song for song, riff for riff, there's just not a lot that measures up to what they can do right now.
Right. And would it surprise you if I told you Caligula's horse is from Australia?
No, not one bit. No.
So, yeah, man. I'm gonna give this one an 8, man. It's a fantastic album. I like Dilemma, Us from Evil. That's my standout.
Yeah, man. I mean, you really said most of it. Like, it's fucking porn crumpets. It's ridiculous. It's creative. It's fun. It's energetic. It's very unconcerned with the world outside of its own. I feel like I'm still processing my feelings on it, but I know that I like it. Like, I don't know where I'd rank it against their other albums quite yet, but man, we had a lot of albums on the playlist this week. So I haven't listened to this one quite as much as I'd be able to, but it didn't take long to realize that they're still just making the same great loud ass music that they were making a fucking year ago.
Right.
I'm gonna give this like a 7.5, maybe an 8 for now. Standout's tough, man. I think Newtmare gets better the more I listen to it.
Yep.
Sierra Nevada takes me back to my NorCal days. I don't know. There's a lot of winners on here. I'm gonna say Newtmare for now, though.
Nice.
All right. That does it for us this week. Be sure to join us next week when we will be talking about even more releases we haven't talked about yet, plus new ones from Gallant and Terrace Martin, Andre 3000, Two Chainz and Lil Wayne, Earth Gang, Danny Brown, and much, much more. You can find us on Instagram and Reddit. Just search Brandon's Face Pod. And don't forget to follow the playlist that the podcast is based on if you have not already. You can find the link to that in the show notes. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.